Action.
How's it going? I'm Jacob, your student nurse today. Can you tell me your name and date of birth?
Carter Colasar, November 13, 2001.
And let me check your wristband. And do you need a drape today?
Nope.
Alright, so we're gonna do a head to toe assessment. Do I have consent to record and assess you?
Yes.
Alright, I'm gonna start by asking or testing your level of consciousness. So, do you know where you are right now?
I'm at CSU.
Alrighty, and then do you know the date today?
October 17th, 2024.
Good. And then, do you know what assessment you're having?
Yes, I just came in here for a head to toe.
Perfect. So, we're gonna start by assessing your jugular vein.
Okay.
So I'm gonna have you lay down,
Okay.
and then can you look to the left for me? So I'm assessing for jugular vein distension that's not present. Now I'm gonna palpate your chest. Do you have any history of hypertension or anything?
Nope.
Any chest pain?
Nope.
Any pain with that? Okay, now I'm gonna take a look at your carotid arteries. You just stay like that. Just gonna palpate bilaterally. And I'm gonna take radial pulses. That's good. Alright, good. Now I'm gonna check your posterior tibialis down here. That's good. Good. And then I can't check your femoris because you're wearing clothes, but let's say I do. And then your dorsalis pedis, you're wearing shoes, but it would be right on the top. Both sides bilaterally. The pulses are 2+ bilaterally, which is good. And I'm gonna check for edema. Any pain or tenderness with that?
No.
How about that?
Nope.
Very good. So now we're gonna move back up. I'm gonna take a listen to your carotid arteries. And we're gonna assess for a bruit. Can you take a deep breath and hold it? Very good. I'm gonna do the other side. Deep breath. Good. So now I'm gonna take a look at your heart. If you could just lay back a little bit. That's good. So we're gonna go over the 5 points that you listened to, both with the diaphragm and the bell. I'm gonna start with the diaphragm. Gonna go down to the second intercostal. Listen for the aortic valve. And then move over to the other side, pulmonic valve. And third intercostal to the Erb's point. Then fourth intercostal tricuspid valve. And then fifth, a little bit over to the mitral valve. Good. We're gonna switch to the bell here. Gonna do it once more. Pulmonic. Erb's. Fourth tricuspid. And fifth mitral. Alright, I'm gonna lay you down. We're gonna check your apical pulse. Let's get like that. So I'm first gonna palpate to find it. And then we're gonna listen, and for the sake of this video, I'm just gonna listen for a bit, 60 seconds. So I'll just take a quick pulse. 64, I would tell the pulse. And then from here, we're gonna move down to the abdomen. So do you have any pain or tenderness in your abdomen?
No.
Did you eat this morning?
Yes.
Alright, so I should be hearing hyperactive bowel movements, but first I'm gonna inspect. So I see that the abdomen's flat, which is good. And then we're gonna take a listen in the 4 quadrants, starting with the right lower quadrant. Just 1 second. Good. So since he ate this morning, I'm hearing hyperactive bowel movements. There's no issues with that. And then we're gonna palpate. Same idea in the 4 quadrants. Any pain or tenderness?
No.
That. How about there?
Nope.
There.
Nope.
How about there?
Nope.
Alright, now we're gonna move on to percussion. So I'm gonna start. I'm looking for resonance, dullness, and tympany. Tympany is going to be in over empty spaces. Dullness will be over the liver. Resonance will be over bowels. All right, good. So I'm going to have you sit back up now. Now we're going to move on to cranial nerves. So do you have any numbness or tingling in anywhere?
No.
Okay. So we're gonna first take a look. Do you have any tremors? Okay, so I'm gonna have you lift your head up. I'm gonna take a look in your nostrils. Checking for deviation. And then we're gonna do a smell test, so can you occlude one nostril and close your eyes? First one. You know what that is?
Vanilla.
Vanilla, good. Now we're gonna go to the other side and do the other nostril.
Orange.
Good. Alright, now we're gonna move on to the second cranial nerve, so I'm gonna have him close one eye and then can you read that first sentence?
Welcome to the start of an exciting and transformative journey in your nursing education.
Good. And then close the other eye and read the second sentence.
We are thrilled to have you join the Accelerated Online Bachelor of Science in Nursing program.
Good. So I'm gonna move on to 3, 4, and 6, which is perla and extraocular movements. So I'm gonna ask you to look at that TV.
Okay.
I'm gonna shine this in your eyes. Good. Good. I'm gonna have you follow my finger. Don't move your head. Good. I'm gonna move on to cranial nerve 5. So we have a dull and a sharp end. I'm gonna have you close your eyes. Are you gonna tell me if it's dull or sharp?
Dull. Sharp. Sharp. Sharp.
Yeah. While I'm here, I'm gonna touch your jaw, so can you clench for me? So we're gonna move on to number 7. I'm gonna take this cotton ball. Can you raise your eyebrows? Can you frown? Can you puff your cheeks? Good. Alright, now I'm gonna brush this against your face. Tell me if you feel it.
Okay. Yep. 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 Yep.
that's 7. So now we're gonna move on to number 8, which is a whisper test and then the Weber test. So I'm gonna stand back here. I'm gonna whisper something, you're gonna repeat it.
Brad Pitt. Katy Perry.
I'm gonna check for, can you feel this vibration on your forehead?
Mm-hmm.
Equal in both ears?
Mm-hmm.
That's good. So now we're gonna do 9 and 10, which is gag reflex, and then I'm gonna assess his uvula. So we're not gonna actually do the gag reflex, I'm just gonna demonstrate how to do it. So I'm gonna have you open your mouth. Take a look in, stick your tongue out. I'm gonna place it right here. Look in and then say good. And then to test the gag reflex, I would stick it a little farther. But we're not gonna do that. So then we're moving on to cranial nerve 11. So it's gonna be resistance. So I'm gonna have you push against resistance this way. And push this way. Good. And can you shrug your shoulders? Awesome. Then we're gonna move on to 12, so I'm gonna push against your tongue and you're gonna resist. Both sides. Open your mouth. Push. Good. Push. Good. Awesome. Alright, so from here, I'm gonna test your resistance. So can you hold your arms up like this? And I want you to push, pull, to your sides, push, pull. And move down to the legs. I want you to push, and pull, and push, pull. On the feet, push, and push. All right, well, that does it for the exam. Do you have any questions?
No.